So I want to talk about Sydney Ross's piece.
Sydney, what up? Let's talk about Sydney Ross.
Okay.
So Beth, Sydney Ross, she's a ceramicist. What do you think of her work?
I just love Sydney's pieces. I think that they're marvelous. I really am astonished by the architecture and the detail that's involved in them. This particular piece I saw for the first time maybe a couple years ago. I saw a photo of it on her website, and I loved it immediately.
Beth be sneaking stuff.
Yeah.
She's like my little stealther. Like she'll like come up to me and like, "Yo, I found something," and I just be like, "Okay, let's go get it," because that's typically how it happens. Continue.
Yeah, but sometimes I like to do things on my own. And I don't think I even told Dwight about this piece. But I had it in my mind, and I was like, "This is going to be one of the next pieces that I acquire." So last year in 2020, I was ready to buy it, and so I did. This piece has meaning to me because it represents the U.S. Capitol, and and it's in a rather decrepit state. I was a state legislator for 6 years in Jefferson City in a past life, long ago, and so this had a whole lot of personal resonance for me, and of course her art, as I said, is just
I'm taking a selfie.
Sort of monumental. So it's gorgeous.
I'm taking a selfie of my wife while she's doing the interview.
So anyway, that's a little bit about the piece by Sydney Ross, which I just adore. And
it's a great piece. I mean, I think it's extremely foretelling of now the kind of the decay that it kind of displays. It's really interesting piece. Once you get inside, like you look through the windows and you see the details. Sydney's, I don't know if you guys aren't familiar with Sydney Ross. Her she's done like this great set of barns that are just like magnificent, and she's got like these small structures that she does. But this piece here, Sydney, you gotta dig yourself on this for real. That is gangster. That piece is yeah, it is now. I know who I'll speak on. I'll speak on Zygmunt's. So, you know, I have been, I've always been a big fan of the entire print genre. Just I've always loved it. I've always loved it ever since I was a little kid. My mom used to take me to museums, and we would go to the print section. So my mom was like, you know, had me on the print game from a very young age, and she would teach me about the paper. She talked about that stuff, you know. And when she was at Smithsonian for a little while, you know, I would go wander until she got off work, you know. So I was always, and she'd go to the print section. I was like, yep. And she'd tell me about what she saw. So, you know, we would have these discussions. So, you know, Zygmunt's, I was able to have one of those kinds of discussions again. It was nice going to his studio, to his to hang out with him, and just talk to him. I was very privileged that he offered to, you know, even have me come out there. Spoke about, you know, his importance in the entire genre printing. We talked about his life, and then he shared some of his really lovely works. You know, I have several. You know, I got a couple of the smaller pieces, and we purchased a nice one. You know, I was able to have these great conversations with Zygmunt about the exploration of printmaking and just his journey and some of the masters that he taught. So, you know, so that was like, wow. So being here in Kansas City and then being able to, you know, have access to basically, you know, a master printer, you know, of the highest caliber was really, really nice, you know. And you know, he always gets a Christmas card, and he sends his own little beautiful Christmas cards out to people, and it's been a really nice you know, relationship that we have developed just, you know, through the Kansas City Artists Coalition. So again, thank you for connecting people to artists. That, I think that is huge. And so artist number 3, and you know, another heavy hitter from the Kansas City area, another artist that has, you know, just absolute mega talent, dedicated to his craft. You know, that's what I like about all of our artists tend to be, you know, true, you know, when we say artists, every one of these ones you can look at them and go, oh yeah, they're artists. You know, they fit the description. You know, and Harold is one of those artists. You know, I remember I had seen his work the first time at Leading Vocus, and he had these big, giant, magnificent, colorful canvases, and I was like, ooh, ooh. I was like, ooh, I want one of those. I knew as soon as I saw, I was like, I was just looking for, one thing, collectors. First time you see artists, you're gonna be tempted and you're gonna want to buy. Sometimes you gotta hold back. So I was looking at Harold, and I knew he was gonna be in the collection. The moment I saw him, I was like, I just didn't want to go crazy that first time. So I said, let's wait and find your piece. That's another part of collecting, is finding, just because you like an artist, sometimes you got to wait and find the piece that really suits you. So he had a bunch of great pieces. I checked him out. I spoke to some people who knew of him. And then, fate just kind of navigated us to meeting each other. So that show, I met Sonny Ruffin. Sonny introduced me to the cohort, the entire, African artist collective here in Kansas City. And then from there, it was just boom. It was like I had met my family. I was like, oh, yes, what I've been waiting for. Because, Beth will tell you, I was like, where the hell is all the Black artists? And da, 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 da. I was riding her every day. Like, we got to find this. I know they exist here. And boom, lo and behold, they do exist. And I found them. And it was fantastic. So Sonny led me to Harold. And then I went to Harold's studio the first time. And it was just like going to like Wonderland. It was like you saw a man who was so devoted to his craft, putting in, this guy, he was working to, basically to do art. It wasn't the other way around. He's like, I'm just gonna do this little job so I can go buy paint in big canvases. Living room was full of canvases, like, on some straight up Renaissance man back in the 1800s in Europe type stuff, just for real. It was beautiful. So I was like, wow, I love his passion. And then we just started talking. I would stop by after work because he didn't live too far. He doesn't live too far from where I work in the city. And I'd pop in after work sometime and we would talk about, art, politics, and we were just talking, and then he was like, hey, I'm going to have a show, and then we developed a really close friendship. So I remember when this piece showed up at Lady Vocus, I had an opportunity at that show. This piece was there, and they're like, that show, Harold really showed his ass, because it was like some really great pieces. And I remember I was like, baby, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm getting one of these, because there was like 3 or 4. There was this beautiful blue head. We had kind of been talking about. He had, said this is gonna be my new Mana Color series. So he had been like giving me all the previews of what he was going to share with you guys. So when I actually saw the best of what he had done, and he because he didn't show me all these. So then when he had that show, it was just blew the socks off of me, and I was just like, yo. And I got, We Rise, because we had been kind of having this ongoing discussion, about old media and how it portrayed Black folks, as juxtaposed against today. And we kind of, just been always having these ongoing discussions about that in culture. And then I saw We Rise, and I was just like, oh man, Harold, you killed it. So I knew that was the piece, that was my Harold piece. And I remember I ran to the front and stuff, and I was like, yo, I want this one. She was like, okay. She came back and put the dot on it. I got a picture of her putting the dot on it, and it was really a nice job. I think I called Harold up and said, yo, I got this one. He was real happy. Yeah. And it was just a really, really nice moment. I've got several more of his since then, but this one was the first one that we added to the collection.
I think it was about a month maybe after the opening of that show that I was at work, and I was involved in a project that in a small way related to the arts, and Harold's name came up, and the person I was speaking with said, there are some people in our community who are unrecognized treasures, and people have no idea how lucky our community is to have them. And I couldn't agree more. This is it's a beautiful piece. as Dwight has noted, his use of colors is vibrant and energizing and powerful, and it's a great piece. Really glad it's in our collection.